Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a Blu-ray DVD, a couple other things, collection update. Most of this stuff is stuff my siblings, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends have gotten me for Christmas. Some of this stuff is stuff I bought myself. Yeah, let's just dive right in, starting with the Blu-rays and DVDs. I got Blair Witch Project on Blu-ray. This is a great movie. Honestly, I love the Blair Witch Project. I only have the DVD of it, so I figured I'd upgrade. And yeah, I actually like this movie and Book of Shadows quite a bit. Honestly, they're the first one. This one's pretty creepy. The second one is more on the side of just watching it because it's kind of fun. I got the 30th anniversary edition Blu-ray of Maniac. This is not the new 4K scan with the lenticular slip or anything. This is just the 1080p HD version of the film from a few years ago when this Blu-ray came out. I haven't watched this specific Blu-ray of it. I actually have seen some shots from the recent 4K Blu-ray release. Or at least the Blu-ray release that's from the 4K master of the film, and that looks absolutely amazing. I don't know if this one looks as good. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. I think Maniac is best seen when it's in a very murky, almost low quality, picture. It's the Blu-ray DVD combo, which that's nice. Maniac's one of my favorite movies. So it's good to get the Blu-ray finally. I've only had the DVD for years and years. Victor Crowley. This is the most recent Hatchet movie from this year. This is like Hatchet 4, I guess. This is 10 years after the first Hatchet movie. God damn, I remember when the first Hatchet came out, and I saw it in like a Hollywood video or something like that, and I was like, man, that movie looks so cool. And then I saw it when I was a teenager. I was like, man, this movie's pretty cool. This is probably the weakest one in the series, and it's kind of funny because, like, this one and Part 2 are, like, the two weakest in the series, and Part 1, Part 2, and this are all from the same director. Part 3 was a completely different director, yet Part 3 is, like, the best one in the entire series for some reason. But yeah, no, this is still a good one from this year. I think this one is on my best of the year list for 2018. Still got to see a couple more movies for that list. I bought a Vampire Motorcycle. Never seen this before. Been meaning to see it because with a title like I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle, this has to be a good movie. Apparently this is a movie that has to do with... this is a 4K restoration too. This movie has to do with like a Satanist biker who's killed, and then somebody buys his wrecked bike and like rebuilds it, and it becomes sentient and starts to kill people. That's basically the setup for I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle. Got Leatherface, which this is the most recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. This is like a prequel, new reboot kind of thing they're doing. This one was written and directed by the same writer-director team who did Inside, which was a really great French horror film from about 12 years ago. That was really fucking crazy violent. And yeah. Summer of '84. This is another one from this year that I really liked. This one's from the same group of directors who did Turbo Kid a few years back. Turbo Kid was a pretty fun one. This is a kind of serial killer slasher kind of throwback film. Like if I were to compare it to anything, I'd say it's like a combination of Goonies and I don't know, maybe like pretty much any suburban horror film from any era, pretty much. It's mostly just kind of a drama, comedy, adventure, mystery thriller for the most part, up until like the last 15 to 20 minutes, where the movie just goes straight horror, and I kind of like that about it. Some people complained about the dialogue with all these like 15-year-old boys talking about sex, and honestly, I was 15 once. Me and my friends didn't necessarily talk like that specifically, but we talked about sex like we knew what we were talking about, so yeah. Summer of '84. Good one. We got Acid Bath. This is from Wild Eye Releasing. This is I haven't seen this one, actually. This is some shot, I think it's like a shot on video film from like 2006 or something like that. All I know is it's low budget, and I mean, with cover art like that, you can't fucking say no. Corpse Mania. This is a Hong Kong, I think this is a 70s Hong Kong film. No, early 80s. In 1981 Hong Kong horror film, giallo inspired, pretty much a Hong Kong giallo film, about a guy who's a necrophiliac serial killer who is killing geishas, and it's got colorful lighting and a couple pretty gross scenes involving rotting corpses and a couple gory moments, but it's not as crazy as it's not as crazy as you expect. And this is actually from the same director as The Boxer's Omen, which is another film distributed by the Shaw Brothers. That is, it's a movie that a lot of people really, really like say is like one of the craziest, most amazing kind of, so bad it's good movies ever. Honestly, I thought Boxer's Omen was pretty good for the most part. I wouldn't say it's anything super amazing. I'm more of a greasy maniac, not greasy maniac, oily maniac kind of guy. But still, Corpse Mania. How can you say no to a film with that title? We got Stabbed in the Face. This is also from Wild Eye Releasing. This is another one. I think this is from like 2004, some like low budget 2004 slasher. Stabbed in the Face. Doesn't get any more simple than that. We got this 4-pack of these 4 movies, all from the same director. Only one of which I've seen, but it's the Killer 4-pack, Volume 2. This is like a really cheap budget release of these movies on a fucking DVD-R disc. So I'm not expecting quality. But the movies on here are Hellbilly, Hellinger, Carnage, The Legend of Quiltface, and Holy Terror. And I've seen Carnage, The Legend of Quiltface, also known as Carnage Road. And let me tell you, that movie is absolutely fucking atrocious. But why not? That movie was also written by John Polonia, one of the Polonia brothers. Rocktober Blood. This is another one that I think this is a just cheap DVD-R release. Yeah, another DVD-R release of a movie. I remember a few years ago they were talking, there was a Kickstarter or something to get this movie remastered and put on Blu-ray, and then it happened, and I remember, I'm probably pulling this out my ass, but I remember hearing that the film, the people that were trying to remaster it just kind of took the money and ran, or they tried to remaster it and couldn't, so they just kind of were like, well, we've got the rights to this, let's just fucking throw this out onto a cheap DVD. That being said, I actually, from what I remember, I actually really like Rocktober Blood. This was, again, from what I remember, this is a pretty entertaining, kind of metal horror comedy slasher from the mid-'80s, I think. About a rock star who dies and then he comes back from the dead and, kills his former bandmates and something like that. It kind of reminds me of Trick or Treat, the film about the rock star Sammy Kerr who commits suicide. But yeah, Rocktober Blood. Look at that fucking spine. That's beautiful. We got this Bruce Campbell triple feature with My Name is Bruce, Alien Apocalypse, and The Man with the Screaming Brain. Now, I haven't seen Alien Apocalypse. I've seen My Name is Bruce, and I've seen The Man with the Screaming Brain, both of which star and were written and directed by Bruce Campbell, and both of those are very entertaining. I own a copy of Man with the Screaming Brain, and I figured, why not just, why not? This looks good. This is something I grabbed for myself. Found it pretty cheap. It was like $5. Not bad at all. It's all on one disc, which is to be expected with these cheap kind of, anywhere from $5 to $10 budget releases of movies. But that being said, I love Bruce Campbell, and if you have never seen My Name is Bruce, that's a good one. We've got Helga, the She-Wolf of Stillburg. From what I've heard, this is some kind of weird Nazi-ploitation film attempting to rip off the Elsa films. I actually quite like the Elsa movies. In all honesty, the first Elsa movie, She-Wolf of the SS, is like one of my favorite exploitation films. It's a classic, honestly. The rest of the series is okay. The fourth one's pretty good. But here we have a rip-off film in the series. Rip-off Elsa film, obviously by the title. And from what I've heard, this is like a pretty subpar, like, Nazi-ploitation film where I guess the filmmakers felt bad and didn't want to use Nazi imagery and swastikas and the uniforms and everything, so they just kind of just play it up as them just being dressed as normal soldiers, and they have German accents or something like that. So I guess they felt bad about putting fucking Nazi uniforms in an exploitation film, which I could almost understand in a way, but still, plan on watching that one eventually. Got a Legacy of Blood. This is a Andy Milligan film. This one was pretty cheap. This was like $10. I've seen Legacy of Blood before, and I've seen the original film that this is a remake of. It's actually a remake of Andy Milligan's The Ghastly Ones, which is a movie I quite like. And this is a remake that he did 10 years after he made The Ghastly Ones, and this is like a far better movie in every way. It's still pretty bad, and I don't know if I like it as much as The Ghastly Ones, but it's interesting, and it was on Elvira's Movie Macabre, so that's something. Which, speaking of, I heard that Severin is putting out a box set of Andy Milligan films, and a bunch of them are going to be in their original uncut form that was thought to be lost. So I'm very excited for that from Severin. Not that that's going to come out anytime soon. For my friend Andrew, he sent me this in the mail because he kept telling me that I need to see more Doris Wishman movies, because all I'd really ever seen was A Night to Dismember and Let Me Die a Woman. So he sent me this double feature DVD. This is another fucking DVD-R release from Something Weird Video of Bad Girls Go to Hell and Another Day, Another Man. I watched Bad Girls Go to Hell, which is the main reason he sent this to me, because he told me to see it, because he says it's the only good film in the roughy subgenre, which is essentially a subgenre of exploitation from the 60s that was trying to do, sexy, risque, half-naked ladies, but they were also trying to throw in, like serious, dramatic plot elements and thriller genre elements. I think the earliest roughy film is actually Herschel Gordon Lewis's Scum of the Earth from 1963. Same year he released the first splatter film, Blood Feast. But that movie has to do with, high school girls getting blackmailed into doing essentially pornography, and a couple of them get raped, and it's pretty dark in tone. And that's essentially what roughies are. They're just kind of, rough around the edges, exploitation, sexploitation films. And Bad Girls Go to Hell reminds me very much of the Roman Polanski film Repulsion, one of the good Roman Polanski films he made before he, fucking became an absolute despicable human being in the mid-70s. I don't want to talk about it. My grandmother got me Goonies on Blu-ray, just because it was cheap. It was like, I'm sure this was in the $5 bin. The thing is, I actually didn't own a copy of the Goonies, and not that I was like, I gotta get a copy of this movie or anything, because, the Goonies is a good movie for what it is. It's really nothing too special, in my opinion. It's a movie I'm nostalgic for because I watched it when I was a kid, but this movie also scared the hell out of me as a kid. All those skeletons really fucked with me. But, yeah, no, I mean, I like the Goonies. Why not? And then she got me this, which is pretty cool. because I was actually talking to her about how I wanted to see this movie for a while. It's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. This is a very nice, ignore that. It's a very nice, one of those kind of digibook, digipack kind of releases that has pretty much a whole booklet in it, and then the disc. This is a really nice release of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Never seen this before. I know this won like Best Picture in '75, which again, been meaning to see, because I know this has, this is apparently one of Jack Nicholson's best performances, and it also features Danny DeVito, which I love. Danny DeVito, love that man. He's great. I guess I will get on to the vinyls now. Somebody got me, I think my sister got me this, the first Ghost album on vinyl, Opus Eponymous, or is it that? God damn it, I gotta read it. Yeah, Opus Eponymous is the fucking title of their first album, which this album I've been trying to find for a very long time. Every time I try to get my hands on it, it's like out of print. But the vinyl itself is a nice purple color, as you can see there. Very, very nice release. Now I have every major Ghost album and LP on vinyl, which is great. I'm caught up, and this is a very, very good album. Not the best album from Ghost. I say this as I'm like wearing a Ghost shirt, holding up this fucking, yeah, I love Ghost. Not the best album from Ghost, but definitely a very, very good one. I don't know, I think this might be actually my least favorite album from them, honestly. I'm more of a Meliora and Infestessimum kind of guy, but this is still a great, great debut album. I think my cousin got me Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast on vinyl, which I already own this on a CD, but I wanted to get it on vinyl because vinyl is just a great format. And look, Number of the Beast is like one of the best, if not the best, Iron Maiden album. I mean, you can argue with me all day, but there's not a single bad track on this album, and you can't sit here and say that that's bullshit or that I'm making that up. But yeah, this album, whew, it's a fucking great one. Next, we have a couple things I've got for myself. First is a graphic novel. This is the first volume in this series. I think there's only going to be like 2 or 3 volumes. But it's The Sons of El Topo, Volume 1, Cain, which this is essentially a graphic novel sequel to El Topo, the acid western from the 70s, directed by who am I thinking of? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Alejandro Jodorowsky, one of my favorite directors. But yeah, this is a comic. This is essentially a graphic novel sequel to his first major hit film, El Topo, which was an acid western. And I think it continues the plot of El Topo with his sons and everything. Pretty good. Not a lot happens in this first volume, honestly, but it does kind of alter the ending of the film El Topo a bit to, try to tell its story. But still, the art is good. The art is done by somebody else entirely, but it's written by Jodorowsky, so it's legit. It's just kind of weird to be reading a Jodorowsky film, because his films are very visual, and like if you try to watch a Jodorowsky film, but like if you have the choice of watching a Jodorowsky film either with no visuals or no sound, I would say go with no sound, because visually his films are very, very interesting. So it's kind of weird to see this guy who's known for very colorful, visuals and everything. It's weird to see him do something that's more kind of grayscale, not as colorful, still very weird and interesting, but something that is a still image that is not, that's more kind of a normal color palette, or normal, that just feels normal. Because if you were to show Like, for instance, these couple of pages right here to somebody, not tell them it's related to El Topo or acid westerns or anything weird. They would assume this is just some kind of western comic book for the most part. And you know, they might be right. But either way, yeah, El Topo, Sons of El Topo, Volume 1, Kane. Can't wait till Volume 2 comes out. Don't know when it's going to come out in English. This has been out in other countries for years. We're finally getting it here. Here's something stupid I bought when I was like out shopping randomly. Don't even know why I bought this. I just kind of saw it on the shelf at the store and was like, you know what? That's awful and stupid and ugly. I want it. I bought one of these fucking things. They're called Fugglers, funny ugly monsters. And yeah, this thing is fucking atrocious. Look at this fucking thing. Look at this monstrosity. They're selling these things to kids for $15 a piece. And I'm a 21-year-old man and I bought one because I looked at that face. I looked at those dead eyes and those fucking rotted teeth and I said, that's awful. I have to have it. So yeah, not much detail or anything about these. It's just kind of hard plastic teeth and little short stubby fucking limbs. You can like hang them off something, I guess. I don't know. It comes with adoption papers, because I guess there's like an app you can that these guys are connected to or something. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this fucking thing. I bought it because it just looked dumb and awful, and I kind of love it. So that's why it's kind of still in the box, even though I bought this weeks ago. Where are we now? I guess I'll get on to the poster. This was a present from my friend Robert, who I keep trying to get him to you know, get him on one of my streams or do something, but he's never willing. But he works at a movie theater, so last year he got me a poster for Mother because I really liked Mother, and they happened to have a bunch of those left over because nobody liked Mother. And here we have one for Suspiria. This is the poster for Suspiria that I'm not that big of a fan of. It's just like a bunch of eyeballs and blood everywhere, but you know, I can live with that. It's still nice, and I'm going to get a frame for it. Really liked Suspiria, if you didn't see my review of Suspiria. But after I saw it, I instantly messaged him on Facebook, and I was like, dude, you should see Suspiria. I think you would like it. And then he messaged me the next day and was like, dude, I don't know why you like that movie so much. I guess it was interesting, you know, for the sake of the art of filmmaking, but I was disinterested, and I was like, I mean, I guess. And yeah, then he told me he was going to get me the poster, so I have that. On to the last couple of things here. Let me grab these off the floor. Got a couple shirts. A couple of these shirts are from my aunt. I think these socks are from my sisters. Dawn of the Dead socks, which is pretty much just the famous, you know, poster art for the original Dawn of the Dead, but it's on socks. And some Captain Spaulding House of a Thousand Corpses officially licensed, you know, Murder Ride socks. Love House of a Thousand Corpses. That movie's just one I love. Got some T-shirts here. Starting off, let's see what we got. Okay, starting off, we got a Ghost shirt. This is their Headless Horseman shirt, which this one I actually like the art on quite a bit, featuring Papa Martis as the Headless Horseman. Next, we got... oh yeah, we got this one. This one I fucking love. This is from Terror Threads, and it is My Twisted Twin, which this is a Solska Sisters shirt. That's like inspired by those shirts that have been going around. That's like, you know, Sell Your Soul to the Devil, and you know, My First Knife Fight, How to Summon Demons. You know, those ones. Pyrokinesis for beginners. This is one that's, you know, of the Solska Sisters, which I love them. They're great. Love those girls. Here we got another Ghost one. This is their This is their Frankenstein shirt, which nothing too major there, but it's still nice. I like the design. Here we got one from Fright Rags. This is very similar to that Sulsk Sisters one. It's going for a similar kind of vibe. It's My First Necronomicon. Reading for beginners. Or learning to read. Yeah. Because why not? And then this one is, an S-Mart t-shirt for Army of Darkness. And I think that is it. And just to give back, because fuck it, just to give back because it's Christmas season, anybody want a fucking digital copy of Scream Bloody Gore by Death? There you go. I'm trying to like get that to focus, but I think you can make out the letters on that pretty good. BEDMCUNU. Yeah. Just go to relapserecords.bandcamp.com/yum and put that in, and you'll have yourself a free digital copy of the debut album from death metal band Death. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot. I nearly forgot this. Ash vs. Evil Dead, Ashy Slashy, Puppet Pin. Yeah. But that's actually it for this update video. Anyway guys, this is Biscuit Blue Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.